Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Toadstool Tarot. It's Robin. It's Saturday. It is November 2nd. So I'm coming to you with a tarot to share that I got actually a month ago. I shared a tarot with you last month in October. And at the time, I had an impulse purchase and bought two mass market decks. And I saved the second one for you for November. And this is it. It's the Star Maiden Tarot. It's by Hannah Kirchen, Kirchen. It's published by US Games. It comes in a heavy box like they're doing these days, 2-part box. Hello, Rolf and SCB. So, they have this little thumb insert area kind of on an angle where you can get the lid off fairly easy. The inside of the box is just sort of darkish color, blue. And there's quite a substantial book inside. It is 179 pages. There's a little photo and bio of the deck creator in the back. There's a page for each card, upright, half a page upright, the other half reversed. Not that much information, but full color, which is nice. The thing I liked about this is I like the color and style of this deck. It comes in a box with a little insert and a ribbon to pull it out. Little, looks like the 4 elements there in the bottom of the box. And I guess if I had a criticism, let's see. Hello, Catherine Gorman Lovelady. I guess if I had a criticism, and it's a minor one, it's when they do boxes like this, and I do love 2-part boxes, that the insert is such that the cards go in there and the book lays across the top. So it's really to accommodate the size of the book. And I kind of feel like they could make the book just slightly smaller and thicker and have the book size match the cards. Not really for pushing the cards to be larger. The cards actually are, let's see, I think they're exactly your average tarot card size. So, and they have a linen finish, which is nice. The backs, there does seem to be, my lighting is terrible, Let me grab I tend to like sort of my apartment a little on the dim side. There's a kind of a very dark star pattern on the back with little constellations. You can't really see it here. There's a little bit of reflection. These are not really glossy, but they're linen, but they do reflect a little bit. Also, if you look really hard, and it's not going to show here, this is one case where US Games has reverted to adding their copyrights there you go, in the corners. But, might not bother you. It's generally, and now you can see a little bit of the stars there. Generally, it's mostly invisible. I mean, it doesn't really jump out at you. The booklet, trying to see if there's anything unusual in the booklet. Star Maiden Tarot, we have about the Star Maiden, the major arcana, the minor arcana, numerology in the zodiac, the elements, a full moon spread, a new moon spread, and then something about the author. So, might as well get right into these. They're borderless cards. Very nice color palette. Sort of bright and cheery. A lot of the cards do have some darker areas, as if this one doesn't. Well, it sort of does at the bottom. That's the Fool. And you can see they're very sort of almost cartoony images. But I like decks that have a certain kind of stylized art. The colors are pretty. This one seems to have the phases of the moon on it. And I'm guessing that's kind of what we're going to get in a Star Maiden Tarot, is references to the cosmos, maybe. The Magician. We've got a female magician. I have not worked with them yet. I kept them in the box. I didn't want to shuffle them because I wanted to keep them in order. Oh, I missed something. They are edged. There's a metallic blue edging. Now, I'm not one for edging. This is a distraction. People who like glamour and glitz might like this. I want cards to feel like and look like paper, not metal. So as pretty as that is, I don't care for it. I'm going to try my best to ignore it, or if it really bothers me, I have found if you take an emery board, you can very easily file the metallic edging off of decks, just with a light swipe of each side and corner. Works very easily. But it's sort of like the opposite of edging, removing the edging. It takes a few minutes and a little bit of effort. Here we've got the High Priestess. I hope you can see these okay. Looks like the labels are nice and clear and legible. The Empress. Hello, Wish card 22. The Emperor. I love not only the style of the characters, but look at the sort of nice stylized pattern in any kind of border trim. Like I said, these are borderless cards. Here, the design sort of gives us a kind of a border. Here's the Hierophant, which seems to be a ram. The Lovers. This does seem to be a female-centered deck. There are males in it, but okay, here's the Chariot. Cute sphinxes. And I'm surprised I haven't seen any other walkthroughs of this yet. I don't know why that would be. Pretty card, says Wish card. Strength. Yeah, I like both the bright colors of this and the cheeriness. And there's, still a little bit of melancholy in here. And there's still also a lot of darkness too, like here, the Hermit, which is at night. Sorry, it's just a slight glare on here, which isn't giving you exactly the richness of the colors. The Wheel of Fortune with the signs of the zodiac on the wheel. Hello, Deanne. Justice. This is on the cover of the box, I think. Yes. And I got this on Amazon, and I can't remember what I paid. I don't think it was very much. I think it might have been like 27, 29, something like that. Hanged Man. Might be a different price now. Their prices tend to go up or down in time, depending on their whim, I guess. Death. Temperance. This style deck looks like it will go really well with the Pipspeak Tarot, and I can't think of the name of her regular one. I don't have it, that came out first. Don't know if you know who I mean. The Devil. Looks kind of Christmassy or something. It's like in front of the moon, but hiding in the branches of a tree. Death looks rather too jolly. Yeah. Actually, he's paddling a boat, which is interesting. Sometimes we get a sort of a grinning skeleton for death. The Tower. The word quaint pops into mind. There's almost a kind of like a folk art quality about these, like quaint. Playful Heart, thank you, Deanne, by Kitten Chops. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah, don't these sort of have a similar kind of feel? The Star. I think I'm really charmed by the balance of sort of daytime brightness and dark nighttime imagery. The Moon. Hello, Naomi. The Sun. Judgment. The World. Naomi always wanted the playful heart. I think it's being reissued, so it will be available again, I believe. You'll have to Google that. So we got Ace of Swords, Two of Swords. I don't have it either. And I think what they decided to do, it was an odd size, and I can't remember if the cards were larger than average or smaller than average, but I believe the reissue is going to be similar size to the Pip Speak, which is kind of like Fournier card size, which is slightly smaller than average. So I think I'm going to enjoy working with these. Here's the Five of Swords. Looks like the lot like the Hermit. The Six. And I don't know if these images are what one would call vector images. Some people don't like vector art. It kind of looks that way, but there is they're not flat areas of color. There is sort of shading or shaping to them, even though the edges has sort of vector edges to the imagery. Naomi likes the Fournier size. I do too. I think it's my favorite. Eight of Swords. Nine. This also looks like it goes really, what would be a really good match for the Zodiac Tarot that came out in a tin a few months ago. It has a very similar quality to the vectorish art and the color palette, and a lot of dark sky, night sky kind of balance to the bright colors. Although I'm not sure why you'd want to use two tarot decks in tandem, but some people do. Page of Swords. Knight of Swords. King of Swords. Queen of Swords. Then we've got the Wands. Ace of Wands. Two of Wands. My significator, the Three of Wands. That's pretty. This deck has a kind of a freshness to it, I think. Four of Wands. The imagery is really clean. The colors are bright. Five of Wands, nice. Six of Wands. Seven. 8, 9, 10. Some people might not like the simplicity of these images, like they think of cartoons or like, maybe a children's book illustrator or something. I kind of like that. It's, sort of comforting in a way. Kind of puts you at ease. SCB, it does have a very folktale vibe. Amy, I do like the colors they have paired together. Yeah, it's got a really, to me, a very pleasing palette. Sometimes a deck can be colorful, and even so, the palette that they chose, the tones of those colors, don't agree with me aesthetically, but I like these. King of Wands. Queen of Wands. Ace of Cups. Two of Cups. Three of Cups. Four of Cups. Five of Cups. Six. Seven. Now, when I see this card and I reflect on the rest of the deck, I feel like, ooh, Christmas is coming. This might make a really good stocking stuffer, this deck. Because it reminds me a lot, the greens and the dark colors are sort of like evergreen tree and ornaments on the tree. I love that kind of thing around the holidays, to have a deck like that. See, like Eight of Cups, looks like Christmas trees in the background. And also kind of like the idea of telling folk tales or fairy tales at night around the fire during the holidays. Nine of Cups. Beginning with Halloween and right on through to Christmas and New Year's. 10 of Cups. These are quite artful designs, I think. Page of Cups. Knight. King. Queen. Oh, I hadn't noticed. Have all these been switching the king and queen order? No matter. The Ace of Pentacles. I can't quite make out why there's this sort of hint of a headless figure, but it's okay. 2, that's fun. 3, nice. 4. I'm curious as to whether the sort of emphasis on the female or feminine bothers you or not. Sometimes I feel a little overwhelmed and uninvited as a guy, with decks like this. This one's not really bugging me. 5 of Pentacles. There are men in the deck. They're just not as frequent as the women. 6. And there's a little bit of diversity, a little bit. Here we have an older man, 7. 8. 9. 10. 'Page. 'Knight. 'Also has a feel of the artwork from canal boats, narrow boats in the UK. King of Pentacles. And the Queen. The card stock is sort of average. It's flexible, feels sturdy. Sometimes I don't like it if the cards are too thick or too cardboardy. And a lot of people complain when it's too flimsy. This feels about average. I would say my biggest beef is the metallic, the blue metallic edging, which doesn't feel somehow like it goes with this sort of folk art palette. I mean, in terms of the Christmas stocking stuffer idea, it works really well with tinsel or glass ornaments. So think about that, you have to buy a deck for somebody for Christmas. This one has cheery ornamental colors, and the art design on it is very artistic and festive, shall we say. Not strictly speaking holiday or Christmas, but it has a lot of that sort of palette and design and ornamentation work. It seems quite a comforting deck. Maybe a few more roses for our canal boats. Not going to get this shuffled properly, but I thought I might try a little spread, a little reading. And now last month of October, I had a particular deck. It wasn't the deck I showed at the beginning of the month, but it was sort of a scary deck called the Haunted Terror Rider-Waite. And I did monthly live readings on Saturdays in something I called Tough Tarot, which was a reversal of supplying answers to questions by having the tarot draw questions to confront the querent to help them find their own answers or reach for their own answers. And people seem to like that. Now, I might do readings for November if I can find the right deck to work from. Maybe this one. I don't know. Does this feel like it could be a Thanksgiving deck? Because I thought I might take a different approach to the November readings. I might try to do them from a point of view of gratefulness, gratitude, giving thanks. It's like, if people ask me to do a reading for them, is there a way I can frame the reading from a place of thanksgiving? We can try it here. We'll do a reading here having to do with the coming month, the month of November, the month of giving thanks, of family gathering. Let's just sort of see maybe what's the energy we might look for around the idea of finding grace and gratitude in the world around us, in fellow human beings, in an election coming up very soon. Between now and next Saturday, we may have the results on that and see where we can find thanks. How about the Wisdom of Pooh deck? It's beautifully gentle. It is, and I have it, and I don't use it. It's in a tin box that fits very tightly. And it's cute. I think I got it more out of fear of missing out than a desire really to use it for readings. I tend to get a little bit stuck in a rut when I buy decks. It's like every several months, I get a little bit bored, like I'd like to see something new, and then I go looking for a new deck. But it's just kind of like to freshen my perspective. I tend not to really fully embrace them or really get into them. I have a cluster of maybe 4 or 5 decks that I keep at my bedside and put in my shoulder bag. And when I go to the cafe next door, I sit there and I bring out usually the same 4 or 5 decks and read with all of them, see all the different perspectives on what I'm consulting. And I enjoy that. My readings there are pretty brief, but I like the fact that they often tell you don't ask the same question over and over of different decks, expecting different results. And I do and I don't. I mean, I will ask the same question, but I don't expect different results. It's more like I expect different perspectives. I mean, they're all giving me a view of the same issue, but they're all looking through a different spyglass from a different point on the compass, so to speak. So I actually like consulting a number of decks on an issue. And sometimes, since I only do basically 3 to 5 card readings, sometimes I don't get the full depth on that few cards, and another deck's reading will fill in the gaps or help add additional texture to a reading for me. So I hope you can hear me over this ASMR of me shuffling. All right, so we're thinking about November energy. The moon. The moon feels somehow right for Thanksgiving for November. We've got the shift in time. Is it today? I'm not sure. I better look it up to see whether our time changes this weekend or when, soon. But yeah, the days are shorter. The nights come on quicker. So we have a lot of nighttime, evening time. I'm actually surprised at this moon card that it's sort of a bright daytime looking card for the moon. So yeah, when I think of November and think of the moon, I think about lots of nights getting colder, cooler. It's a little bit chilly today, but not too bad. I think it's in the 50s. And at night, we'll be sitting down by candlelight, perhaps, or firelight, consulting our decks, going inward, appreciating what we have, the bounty or the gifts that have been given us. You know, it's that sort of harvest time between Halloween and Christmas. So that kind of works, I think, for the moon. Second card is Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is almost like, well, Thanksgiving it's funny. In the triple holiday there of Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, Thanksgiving's sort of trapped in the middle between the other two. And some people feel like they should be thankful or grateful or appreciate things, but have had difficult years or difficult times or difficult situations with their family and find it really difficult to express grace and gratitude and thankfulness. So maybe a good time to sit by the moon with your cards and really contemplate what to celebrate, to be thankful for this month. And the trappings of an Eight of Swords, are they trappings of your own making? Is there a way to acknowledge our blessings and move ourselves beyond our worries or our distress? Third card is the Two of Swords. Sometimes we are at the mercy of fate, and sometimes we are in control, and we are the ones with the willpower to make the choices. Sometimes we're blinded to the choices, and we can't quite decide or figure out the best way to go. When that happens, I turn to the cards and pull additional cards. If I go within and I don't have an answer and the cards aren't giving it, I keep drawing cards until I find a satisfactory place that does give me an answer. So these three cards look to me like this. This may be a very sort of self-investigative month, the dark month of November, sort of filled with potential, that sort of bounty or feast of, Thanksgiving banquet coming in just a few weeks, and sort of in preparation for another feast at Christmas time a month later. So time change is officially tomorrow, I think, or overnight tonight, technically, says Deanne. Yeah. So usually I think here the clocks change at about 2 a.m. So I will make a slight mental note in the back of my mind about that tonight, that when I wake up tomorrow, I will have had 1 hour less sleep or more sleep. Fall back. More sleep, right? Is that the way it works? Never can quite remember. Anyway, going to leave you a little bit early today because we've been through and had a look at this deck. Curious what, you have given me a few little notes in the chat. Do you like this deck? Is it something you might purchase? Let's see if I can find you. So anybody, actually, I'm going to ask for a volunteer. Somebody pick a card in the deck, any card, and I'm going to look up what the guidebook says to give you a feel of the writing. So if somebody, first person to pop in the chat, name a card, then I will find the card. I shouldn't have shuffled, but I'll find the card in the guidebook and read it to you. So does anybody have a card they would like to know about in this particular deck? Perhaps for, okay, we've got one. Ace of Wands. Okay. Thank you, SCB. The Ace of Wands is actually, that was what it looked like. Nice bright color. It's another thing. I'm not, these are really nicely bound, but I think they're what they call perfect bound, which is sort of glued in. And it's really kind of a stiff binding. Now that I've kind of pried that open, that's the way it falls. And they tend to usually get a kind of a wrinkle on the spine. And after a while, the pages, if you pry it too much, will tend to come unglued and fall out. Unless they've improved the technology, at least that's the way I've experienced them in the past. So, Ace of Wands. Don't mind me bend over here while I try to get a little better light. Upright. The Ace of Wands is a card of potential and passion. It's a sign to start on the project or idea you've been dreaming about. The seeds you plant now have the potential to grow into something vibrant and beautiful, but only if you continue to nurture it after the initial spark of inspiration. You hold the power of the Ace of Wands in your hands. It's odd, the page that I turned to, there's a couple little pages that have a little bit of a wrinkle in the paper. That's all right. I don't often refer to the books anyway. Reversed. When reversed, the Ace of Wands shows that there's a creative block in the project or idea you'd like to pursue. Perhaps there's a lack of confidence or commitment to your idea, or it's possibly not the right timing. When there's a delay, you have been given time to go back, rethink, and find new inspiration. Isn't that a funny coincidence that we get that card about going back when our clocks are falling back tonight? So thank you, SCB, for asking for the Ace of Wands. So that gives me a little bit more to think about in terms of moving forward with an ace, but reflecting back on what came before, which is also a good way of looking at Thanksgiving. So you think almost more like it's a judgment card or judgment month, where we reflect on what we've got that got us here where we are to celebrate. So anyway, I'm going to let you all go, and maybe I'll be back next Saturday, same time, 12:05. Been doing this 3 or 4 weeks now. Seems like I've settled in, and 1 hour or a little less doesn't seem too daunting. So I may do some readings next week. Come back and join me if you will. And have a great November coming up. Maybe grab the Ace of Wands and dive into it with passion in some new project. Maybe some project preparing for Thanksgiving or the holidays. Maybe something related to family gathering. Gather your wits about you. Do something with that ace, with that wand. Okay. Enough chatty from me. See you all soon. Bye.